Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 22 of chapter 13. Purushav prakritistho hi
Purushav prakritistho hi
bhukte prakriti jan gunan
bhunte prakriti jan guna
karanam guna sangosya
karanam guna sangosya
sadasadyo nijanmasu.
sadasadyo nijanmasu.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Purushaha,
Purushaha,
the living entity.
the living entity.
Prakritisthaha,
Prakritisthaha,
being situated in the material energy.
being situated in the material energy.
He,
certainly.
Bhunkte,
Bhunte,
enjoys.
Prakriti
Jan, produced by the material nature. Gunan, the modes of nature. Karanam, the cause. Gunasangaha, the association with the modes of nature. Asya, of the living entity. Sadasat, in good and bad. Yoni, species of life. Janmasu, in births. Translation: the living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. So Prabhupada writes that actually the Jivatma is experiencing all of this when we come into contact with the three Gunas. So this verse is very important for an understanding of how the living entities transmigrate from one body to another. It is explained in the second chapter that the living entity is transmigrating from one body to another just as one changes dress. This change of dress is due to his attachment to material existence. As long as he is captivated by this false manifestation, he has to continue transmigrating from one body to another. Due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is put into such undesirable circumstances. So, Prabhupada is actually explaining here that our changing bodies constantly from one body to another is actually not a very desirable circumstance. It's not desirable because we are disconnected from Krishna. It's not desirable because of the disconnection we are experiencing so much distress. Under the influence of material desire, the entity is born sometimes as a demigod, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a beast, as a bird, as a worm, as an aquatic, as a saintly man, as a buck. This is going on. And in all cases, the living entity thinks himself to be the master of his circumstances. Yet he is under the influence of material nature. So when we talk of Maya, that illusion is actually thinking that you are this body. But it doesn't mean that the suffering is not real. The suffering is real, but the suffering is caused by your faulty identification. So if we correct the identity crisis and are situated on the platform that we are the spirit soul and we are eternally meant to serve the Supreme Lord, then the distress and happiness that comes, the Lord will give you the inner strength to be determined, strong, and not worry about these dualities. You will understand these things in the right perspective. Just as His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu said, sometimes when we watch a movie, we get so involved in it That if there is a great scene happening, we experience joy, and if there is a horrible scene happening, we experience anxiety, even though we know it is not real, that it is just a movie. Still, we experience these feelings because we've come in contact with the three gunas in material nature. How he is put into such different bodies is explained here. It is due to association with the different modes of nature. One has to rise, therefore, above the three material modes and become situated in the transcendental position. That is called Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is very nicely writing here. If you had to define Krishna consciousness, what does that mean? It means you are situated on the right platform. It means you understand your true identity as spirit, soul, and servant of Krishna. And therefore, since you have a relationship with Krishna, you have to act on that relationship. How do you act on that relationship? You express your love, adoration, gratitude, everything towards Krishna through the process of what is called Bhakti Yoga. Unless one is situated in Krishna consciousness, his material consciousness will oblige him to transfer from one body to another because he has material desires since time immemorial. So, two things determine our taking our next body. One is our own desires that decides what body we're going to get next. And of course, our past karmic reactions. So the two combined, our desire plus what we deserve determines your destiny. Destiny meaning what's in store for you in your next life. But he has to change that conception. That change can be effected only by hearing from authoritative sources. So, how do you begin this process of transformation where you're finally situated in your right identity? That process begins with Shravanam. The best example is here. Arjuna is hearing the science of God from Krishna. So, through hearing for 17 chapters and a little bit in the 18th chapter, Arjuna is finally recognizing that he has to surrender to the Lord and he has to do as per his will. So, free will means when we dovetail our free will with the Supreme Lord's free will, that is actually the real free will. So, being obedient to Krishna is actually the proper use of our free will. Anything else is an improper use of our free will. The living entity, if he submits to this hearing process, will lose his long cherished desire to dominate material nature. And gradually and proportionately, as he reduces his long desire to dominate, he comes to enjoy spiritual happiness. So Prabhupada is also explaining that this process is gradual. It's not that today if I chant 16 rounds, tomorrow I'm all pure. No, it takes a long time sometimes because we've had so many lifetimes of desires and conditioning that it takes time. But we have to be steadfast, we have to be determined to continue in this process no matter what happens to us. The challenge is, as we said, when we try to dominate nature, we think we are Purusha. Purusha means enjoyer. We think that Prakriti is meant for us to enjoy. Actually, we are Prakriti meant to be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. So when that understanding dawns on us, then we've begun our spiritual journey. In a Vedic mantra, it is said that as he becomes learned in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he proportionately relishes his eternal blissful life. So there was one devotee who met me a couple of days ago, and she's relatively new to Krishna consciousness, and I was telling me, in every class, she's attending some class in the US, and she was telling me in every class I hear you have to give up this, you have to give up that, you have to give up this. You have to be like a sannyasi. I said, no, that is actually far from the truth. That will be Falgu Vairagya. We believe in Yukta Vairagya, which is using everything in the service of Krishna. Somehow or the other, we may start in a small way, but over a period of time, as our love for the Lord increases, and as our love for Guru increases, then slowly you will situate yourself on the right platform. You can't practice Krishna consciousness by giving up everything, because that will be a disaster for all of us. All of us would give it up within a couple of days, because that's not how Bhakti Yoga actually works. If you read the Nectar of Devotion, it says that not everybody is fortunate enough to have spontaneous love for the Lord. The vast majority of us have to learn how to love the Lord, and that learning process is through sadhana bhakti. So we have to be determined to perform our sadhana no matter what happens, what challenges may come our way. We must make sure that we maintain Vaishnava association every day if possible, chant every day if possible, hear every day if possible. Over a period of time, as you begin this process, then you will never give it up. You will do it every day. So that is that steadfastness. But essentially, Krishna is explaining in this particular shloka that when we come in contact with the three gunas, we begin trying to dominate material nature, thinking that we are the master. So the more we think we are the master, the further we are away from Krishna. The more we recognize slowly through the sadhana bhakti process that we are actually servants of Krishna, then you can transcend the three gunas and come to the Shuddha Sattva state of pure goodness, which allows you to practice spirituality. And as Prabhupada has explained in the purport, you will then experience transcendental bliss. And once you start experiencing transcendental bliss, this is not a process that you would want to ever give.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.